Camp is camp. It's tough, but it's for me to want to push myself. This is what I do, this is what I live for. I'm ready for battle. I feel like I'm getting stronger, and I feel by the time the fight comes, I'll be at peak performance.
The camera fades in on a warehouse-style gym where the lights don't shine. They stalk. The only glow comes from battered bulbs and the faint shimmer of sweat on the floor. A new title burns across the screen. Day 1, the grind resumes. Anthony Joshua steps into frame with the calm intensity of a...
One more. One more. Beautiful. Good. That's what we've got to bring him on to. Nobody can take that.
His face isn't hyped or animated. It's carved with purpose. Camp is where you find out who you really are, he says, voice low, almost measured. It hurts, it tests you, but this is my world.
Vegas, second leg of the training camp. I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling refreshed. So yeah, come inside, have a look what's going on. Tough training, tough lifestyle, rough and tough. But listen, how else would I want it? I love it. So what am I bringing differently? I wouldn't say a new mindset, but definitely like a new perspective. But ultimately, everything new has to lead to a win. So yeah, that's what I'm focused on right now, just winning.
Breathe. The narration slides in over crisp, slow-motion shots. Gauze pulled tight around knuckles. Pads thundering under heavy combinations. Coaches circling with the stern patience of battle strategists. Joshua moves like someone who has seen every version of himself in these walls and refuses to accept anything less than the fiercest one. This isn't routine, it's self-therapy with consequences. Every squat, every punch, every gasping exhale is a negotiation with doubt. And looming just beyond the training footage is the whisper of the incoming clash with Jake Paul, an event the world didn't expect but can't look away from. Josh collision.
Earlier that Anthony Joshua still didn't have an opponent for his next fight, but he was thinking of still fighting before the end of the year. And we've got some breaking news for you now, because we're hearing that AJ is in talks with Jake Paul over a deal for a heavyweight fight in Miami next month. Of course, the YouTuber Paul has already fought the former heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, and beaten him. And he's now in talks with Anthony Joshua with a view to the two of them fighting in Miami next month.
Joshua's tone suggests the answer is already written somewhere in the dust of the gym floor. Experience isn't his trophy. It's the weight he carries, the one he must constantly prove he deserves. The soundtrack builds, metallic and cold, underscoring the resolve in his voice. This isn't hype. This is obligation. This is the silent storm before impact. Cut to Las Vegas, a world away from the gray austerity of the gym. Neon signs flicker against the dry desert air, and the city buzzes with temptation, ego, danger, and dreams.
With training camp, it's grueling, like, there's no doubt about that. But you just need to have a clear mind and be optimistic and run towards challenges every day. And that's how I'm able to get through, is just the perspective I have on what suffering looks like. There's a certain standard that one has to have if they want to achieve certain things. I am working past efforts, measures that I set out for myself. Yes, it's tough. Yes,
Joshua walks through it like he's immune to its tricks. I feel sharp, he murmurs, new. The narration contrasts the city's chaotic pulse with Joshua's grounded stillness. Vegas is a furnace where legends melt or harden, where bright lights don't forgive hesitation. His training deepens, oxygen masks tightening around his face, violent bursts on conditioning machines, sparring sessions that could pass for real fights. Each shot lands with a message. He's rebuilding something, refining something, letting a different version of himself emerge. The film's pace quickens, snapping.
Telling Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua, your man, and Jake Paul are finalizing a deal for a December heavyweight fight in Florida. True or false?
I mean, the gun was jumped a little bit and fired early. There have been conversations. For us, we were flirting with the idea of having this little 8-round fight this year. Not with Jake Paul, by the way, because he was fighting Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, that's no.
But we were going to go on a other card somewhere. You wouldn't have really heard of the person we were going to fight. But AJ wanted to go through the motions, wrap the hands, and just gear up to what is really in the works with Turki Al-Sheikh, which is 2 fights in 2026, and that includes Tyson Fury. That's the plan for Turki Al-Sheikh.
Snapshots of drills, sweat flinging, coaches barking urgent cues. Vegas becomes symbolic, a place where fantasy runs wild, yet the truth of combat remains brutally unforgiving. Joshua moves like a man determined to strip away any illusion the spectacle might create. New, he repeats, not softly, but like a warning pulse under the noise of the city. He understands what this kind of fight demands, not louder words, but a sharper mind. Vegas becomes his second proving ground, where physical fire locks perfectly with mental resolve. And in that furnace, Joshua looks less like a man preparing.
Extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight, but I truly believe.
And more like one already arriving. A newsroom flare flashes across the screen. Cold studio lights, analysts firing rapid takes like warning shots. Rumors erupt again. Joshua versus Paul, winter 2025. Miami on standby. The narrator slides in with razor tension. Later walk back. Nothing locked, nothing promised. Then Eddie Hearn steps into frame, carrying that signature half grin of a man juggling chaos and opportunity. He lays it out clean. Full pro rules, 10-ounce gloves, regulation rounds. This isn't a circus. And then he drops the curveball. It's a coin toss. Could happen, could vanish. Suddenly the pacing tightens. Animations pop. Shifting contracts.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitates a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ
floating dates, networks bickering behind closed doors. The documentary tone pivots. This is the machinery behind the madness. Experts split down the middle. Some call the matchup revolutionary for the sport. Others call it a stunt teetering on insanity. For Joshua, it's a strange but glittering detour. For Jake Paul, it's either the biggest leap of his life or the trapdoor moment that shatters the empire he's been building, punched by gloves hanging on ropes like relics waiting to breathe again. The narrator's voice levels out, calm but weighted, and the path narrows. Joshua training with monk-like focus, sweat falling, eyes locked forward. Cut. Paul grinding with surprising sharpness, faster than critics admit, sharper than detractors acknowledge. Their arcs tighten, two storms circling the same destination. What began as whispers, the narrator says, now lingers like a question the sport can't avoid anymore. Final montage crashes in, Joshua detonating a right hand from a past war. Paul launching a knockout that silenced his own doubters. Headlines spin, cameras erupt. A mock stare-down graphic flashes, not official, not confirmed, but inevitable in tone. The narrator ends it like a verdict and a dare. If this fight is signed, if these two step toward each other under the lights, the world won't tune in to watch a winner. They'll tune in to see what boxing becomes next. Fade to black, a long breath of silence, a flicker of static. Coming soon!